Hello, this is Carl Alfred with YLN TV, and with me today I've got
Dee Corley.
Dee Corley. And Dee, you were in there today at the trial of Thomas David Deegan, and I just want you to give your take on what transpired today.
It's hard to say what transpired today. What I saw was it just depends on the perspective you're coming from. If you're coming from the corporate perspective that the average person is bad if they don't conform, then you're going to see it one way. But if you're looking at it from the perspective of I have rights, I want my freedoms, and there's something wrong here, then this was eye-opening. And I watched the jurors, and it really looked to me like some of them were kind of waking up.
That's what I was going to ask you. What kind of take did it look like on the jurors' faces? And I know you can read the faces.
Yeah, some of them looked a little horrified. Some of them looked kind of stoic, like they didn't really, poker face kind of thing. But then there were some that were just really, you could see that the wheels were turning. What direction were the wheels turning would be the question, because this wasn't judgmental looks in regards to Thomas Deegan. This was really thinking about the information they were getting, while I watched the trooper constantly cut looks over at Thomas that were very judgmental. Okay, you're really conditioned. We get that. However, I think some of the jurors are getting a real opportunity to wake up. I mean, my take on this thing was that this is a major opportunity for some people to wake up, and it's getting broadcasted.
Yes, it is. It's being live streamed. I would imagine the same thing is going to happen tomorrow. I hate to plug another station, but WTAP is doing that, and you can find it on their Facebook site. And I suggest everybody that can and has the time to watch this, because it's going to get a little bit more interesting as we progress into this. And as a matter of fact, it's going to get a lot more interesting.
The education on the history and why he does what he does, and how detailed he's been about filing the proper papers to the proper people in complaints along the way, judicially taking the proper steps before trying to rally the people, was very, very clear in the audio and the video.
The thing that strikes me so far is that, how do you label somebody a terrorist that is doing everything he can to work within the system as we currently have it?
And how do you label somebody a terrorist that is clearly saying the people matter, our futures matter, our children matter, and harm no one and no one's property? How do you call that? Well, you call it terrorist of the state because it's somebody that's said that they want to take down the system. So you've got to be a loyalist to the system to be able to see him as a terrorist.
Okay. Well, today, again, it was the entire morning was spent listening to a conference call, and then most of the afternoon was spent listening to a YouTube video,
which really gave detail and background and understanding, clearer understanding to what was on the conference call, which to me was beautiful. They really, really got an education today. And if you didn't get an education out of it, then your eyes are blinded to the system, to the conditioning. That's all I can say. Because, I mean, to me, it was like this was cut and dry. The man's doing an amazing thing for this country. Just like Iceland, when the people took their country back, we can do the same thing, and that's all he's doing.
Oh, that's a good analogy, Iceland. Because that's exactly what he's calling for, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a great analogy because that's the goal. So
Peaceful.
were the people
Always
that
peaceful.
took Iceland back, were they terrorists of their country?
Well, to the system in play at the time,
Absolutely.
I'm sure they were considered as
Absolutely.
such.
Absolutely.
And that is the point.
So the question for the jurors is, what perspective are they looking at this from? Are they in agreement with the system that he's a terrorist, or are they in agreement with what they want for their future, whether or not he's a terrorist?